Okay, so it's the night of Evo for me, and I wanted to like talk about something, and it's not necessarily my reaction to like the newest team. It's more so the base roster's been done, and I think we're gonna get feelers for the DLC kinda soon. And I think there's like three ways this way goes, but first, kinda the samurai outriders. My kinda thoughts are just Robbie Reyes is cool. I think Blade visually, or no, no, not visually, gameplay wise, he looks cool. He's very like Nagoriyuki coded, and I think Nagoriyuki visually looks cooler. And I think that's just like a cornrows thing with me, because like I think visually Rivals Blade also looks kind of better, but that's just cause like the cornrows, and it'd be insane to be like, oh, Rivals Blade's cooler when he's been buns since release, and like depending on what they buff, he's like very close to committing acts that would terrorize vibes, if you would. But yeah, and then I will never like Deadpool. I just don't like Deadpool. I think what they're doing with him's neat. It's just not a character I don't ever really care about. And then Loki's there. Loki playstyle seems interesting, but I don't particularly care about him. And then any kind of like last closing thoughts I have on, the Samurai Outriders is I'm very glad they took us for a ride instead of just straight up doing the Midnight Suns, because for being honest, for me personally, I think the perfect Midnight Suns team would have been, Ghost Rider, Blade, Magic Strange. And instead we got a bunch of weirdos that like, you know, are really hyped to everyone that isn't me, and that's kind of really good and perfect, whatever. I want to kind of focus on to the main point of this video, which is the DLC. And like, instead of doing like a wish list kind of thing, I just straight up think there's three routes we can take, and I kind of want to explain each route, and then probably which one I think is most likely. And to start that, I think is the most basic one, which is the DLC for this year is going to be the Fantastic Four. The reason why I say it's going to be them is because they are very uniquely perfect for this game, in the sense that they are a four-man team quite literally, and also along with Blade and like Daredevil, they are MVC rejects or refugees, which will come up later. But the one like key drawback from this would be that I don't want to wait like 8 months in between like Sue and Ben, depending on when they release, because I'm a word up to that fella, going around on Rivals Twitter. I'm a to be diabolically selfish right now. The Fantastic Four is a team comp that is very pleasing if they were in the base roster and not necessarily DLC, for the aforementioned reason of I just kind of want to play as Sue and Ben. And I don't really want to wait that long in between, Sue and Ben. But yeah, I just like, it's blah blah blah, it's just perfect. Like, they should be in this game already. They should have, yeah. And very clearly and easily they could do that. Okay, and then the second path is fueled on the very astute observation that, and I also think it's to like quell people's kind of initial reactions to the roster, but in the new stage, whatever, Blade can be found in the background and play the playable characters. So what are the chances that history repeats itself? And this correlates to kind of a common thing, which is, yo, we might just like end up getting another X-Men team. And I do believe that, but I also think it's very real that it's like then the other team is like Team New York or like another Avengers team. Because life isn't always fair, and I'm very much praying She-Hulk is not like rendered to the background forever. And she would be part of, all of that, or she could fit in well into all that besides X-Men. Same with, and here we go, Daredevil, who's also in the background, who also fits the whole NBC refugees slash rejects motif. But realistically, I do think it's going to be an X-Men team if they were to go this route. There's so many, dude. There's so many X-Men that are just sidelined on their one stage with no transitions. It's insane. And also Baby Boy Nightcrawler, who also fits the whole like NBC reject, idea that they can like very clearly take advantage of, as the whole gun and blades character did not stop them from putting multiple people with gun and blades on the same team or in the same game, just straight up. And it is also kind of like the safest route because almost 100% guaranteed, like that survey they put out when people's disappointment with the beta like were kind of bubbling and steaming over. They asked, for everyone's like preferred characters to be put in, and straight up, it's just gonna be X-Men's. It's X-Men dudes, X-Men villains. So, a team with like Nightcrawler, Angel, and then maybe they're kind of pick of the litter, and they're called whatever, I think works. Same with Team New York. You got Daredevil and She-Hulk. Bullseye's in the background if you wanted to pick him. You could do like Black Cat or something. And then, or, you do another Avengers team, you got Thor and She-Hulk, which also fits in there, but I think there's a lot more work to be done to make that one cooler, but there's another route that I very much see being very real. Then there's the last route, which I kind of think is probably the best way. No, I don't. I think it's the most pleasing way to go about it, and arguably the most safe way, which is, hey man, fuck it. We're throwing 4 characters at the wall that each like can slot into 4 different teams. So like, and like I don't even know who those characters would be, but like broad strokes would be like Avengers, you're getting Wasp. X-Men, you're getting Armor. Spider-Man, you're getting, honestly, who would you get? Black Cat, Spider-Gwen, yeah, whatever. And then one last team, so like Midnight Suns, you're getting Doctor Strange, or like, no, just a quick little post-recording. They are not the Midnight Suns. That's not their name. Please forgive me. Doctor Strange does not fit with this team. Imagine I said Moon Knight instead. And also, the line of logic or my justification for the reasoning would be that, like, it'd be imagine me as that bad diva saying, like, each team's really struggling or has a far harder challenge than they imagined and are now requesting backup, and then the aforementioned pairings I give minus Strange with the Samurai Outriders. Nix that and replace it with Moon Knight. The reason I think that's the most people pleasing is because you could just add 4 random bastards that people will love and it'll probably work, rather than like hard committing to, all right, well, Reed Richard comes out this fall, a few months after release, whatever. Sue will be the winter, the Ben will be spring, and Johnny will be the following summer. I think that's a much harder sell, regardless that like the 4 is probably more heavily like interested or like intrigued by for the fans compared to being like Doctor Strange. Jingle, jingle, jingle. Black Cat. Jingle, jingle, jingle. Oh my god, it's Nightcrawler. You know, that makes it sound malicious, but like, I don't hate it. You're kind of like, you're sticking your grubby little fingers in every pie possible and just lapping it up. And I think that's fine. Because guess what? When they jingle Nightcrawler in front of me, I won't. Who am I to stop myself? But yeah, it's like very clearly the routes they could go, and if I had to pick a route, um, I definitely think doing a team, even though I just said like it's the riskiest, and I don't personally want to wait, depending on who the team is for individual members. I think it's just kind of weird because it's not 5 characters, if I'm not mistaken. I'll add some kind of note, but if it's only 4, it has to be a team, and why not go all out then? But yeah, it's just kind of my last little thoughts on Tokon before the beta and I play it.